So it's December 19th, 2024, and we are getting all kinds of news just here on TikTok about all kinds of AI advancements left and right. But let's talk about how this intertwines with the Bible, and let's try to connect some dots together. But some of these things are going to be related to Babylon, and a lot of them are going to be related towards end times. Both of them are interchangeable in many different aspects, but let's talk about it. In one of the recent videos I put out, we talked about how AI, all the frontier AIs that are being released to the public, mind you, this is just what the public has. All of the things that we have, they're on certain models, they have been caught scheming, meaning that the programmers gave the AI certain parameters on to complete a goal, and they were to operate within those parameters. And so the developers were outside looking on the inside, watching what was going on. And basically what they found was that after they confronted the AI, after AI had completed the task, they discovered that AI had lied to them and that they were being deceptive. Go figure, big shocker, right? Well, this is very important to pay attention to because we need to first establish that they lied to us. So let's talk about this article real fast. Here's something that is relatively new. December 10th, it says frontier AI systems have surpassed the self-replicating red line. And when you read this 1 minute article, it basically gives you a synopsis of the entire thing, but it basically says successful self-replication under no human assistance is the essential step for AI to outsmart the human beings. And this is an early stage for rogue AIs. That is why the self-replication is widely recognized as one of the few red line risks of frontier AI systems. This is rather alarming. I think we should definitely be paying attention to this, just not to be, fearful, but obviously to be mindful. This is something to pay attention to because it's letting you know where we're at on this prophetic timeline that we are entering into. And again, trying to view all of these things from the view of a biblical perspective is what I'm attempting to give you here, which is what we're about to dive on into right now. But with these articles that we're reading about, before we continue, I just want you to recognize that this is something that we're entering a phase to where this is no longer contained. This AI is able to escape. It's able to get out. There are rogue AIs that are operating out there right now. And so that leaves you with all kinds of questions on every type of level that you can even imagine. So how does this tie into Babylon? Well, in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 12, you get the story of Babel, but basically where everybody had the same languages, one speech. But here in Genesis 11, verse 1 through 6, it says, "And the Lord said, indeed the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them." That is important to pay attention to. God says very clearly, nothing will be withheld from them. And so what's so fascinating about it in our time today, here in December 19th, 2024, is that we're living in a time period where everything seems possible. All right, now let's talk about 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteousness, deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion that they should believe the lie." Now, what I think is important to pay attention to here is, I don't know what the lie is, and I don't know what the strong delusion is. I know everybody has their own ideas of it, but when you couple everything that we've been talking about up until this point in this video, and we already confirmed that AI is lying to us, and it's scheming, and it's scheming, and it's scheming. And if you watch that other video, you'll see that sometimes it took up to 6 or 7 times before AI actually confessed to lying. And so this whole deception that we are living in, you see this with the word, those being deceived in verse 10 here. This is the time period that it seems that we're entering into. And so when you couple that with what we read in Genesis 11 about how nothing will be withheld from them, God didn't say that they're not going to be able to do it. He said nothing's going to be withheld from them. And so I think it's important to recognize that God back then at the Tower of Babel basically put them in slow motion for a time. But now, here in 2024, that slow motion that was once upon a time, now today, it's like everything is on warp speed. We are just sprinting ahead right now, which is one of the reasons why I believe we are in the last seconds of the last days. And so, you can disagree with that if you would like to, but this is all stuff that we need to be mindful of, just because it will hopefully encourage you in a roundabout way, because I need you guys to recognize we are one day closer to home, and how awesome is that? And so if you recognize that, or if you believe that, or if you're of the same understanding, then I would like to encourage you to be a light in the world, because that's what we're supposed to be doing anyways. We're not supposed to be afraid. We are supposed to be encouraged. And that's what Paul tells us, if you think that he wrote the book of Hebrews, which I do. He says, stir one another up, and even more so as you see the day approaching. And so I personally see the day approaching, and so I just want to stir you guys up to go out there and get out there and tell people about Jesus if you have the opportunity to. And so try to do that, because the gospel is everything. The gospel can be found in 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. Basically, it says that Jesus died according to the scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again on the third day according to the scriptures. How cool. What a day to be alive. Thanks, guys.